Hi, Amanda here. Welcome. So today we're going to do a double pocket card. But before we get there, I want to give you an opportunity to subscribe to my channel. I normally post layout videos on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then some sort of fun fold. Lately, they've been cards on Fridays. If you're already a subscription member to my site, thank you. I really appreciate you. And the other way that you can continue to help me is to go ahead and comment on the videos and hit that like button. So like I said, here's the double pocket card, and this version of the card has the same pocket as both sides, so you get to see the pattern paper pocket and pocket. And then if you fold it this way, which is what we're going to do in this video, you actually will get the alternative of the front side of the paper, back side of the paper, front side of the paper again. So I just want to show you that if you want to do the other one, just take a look. But it's real easy. You start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then you score and fold at your 5.5 and 4.25. So you're basically dividing the paper into quarters. And then the left top corner, you fold a bigger triangle, and the left right corner, you fold a smaller triangle. And I'll talk to you about the actual dimensions as we go. So here I decided to do a Halloween card. We're actually going to get to see my mom for Halloween this year, which is really unusual, but it's going to happen and we're excited. So start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of pattern paper. I like pattern papers that have two different sides. You can use cardstock as well, or as you saw in my first sample, you can make a random stamp sheet. So what I did is I lined it up at 5.5 inches, and I cut to 4.25, and then I scored the rest of the way. And then when it was tall, I lined it up with 4.25 and just scored that center fold. So with the split side on my left-hand side, I'm going to fold, well, I'm going to go ahead and reinforce the folds. But this upper left corner, you just are meeting the edge of the page with the center fold. And then on this one, I'm actually just going to go over 2.5 inches over and 2.5 inches down and connect the fold line between those. And I know I'm folding it towards me now, but you'll just see I flip that to the back. And that's all you have to do for this card. So that left panel goes over, the bottom goes up under, and then it all goes together, and you just glue it all down. Really, it's that easy. So if you want to watch that again, just jump back. But now I'm going to add the glue to hold the fold down, and then I'm just going to glue around the edges so I can still put my tag inside this fold. So pocket number 1 is folded and ready to go. And now pocket number 2, the bottom is already together because that's a folded side. So you really just have to do the little bit along the right edge and a little bit along the top. And now you have your second pocket that's ready to go. The fun part gets to happen now. You decorate. So again, if you pick kind of some fun two-sided paper, these cards can be super easy. And I went through my stash. I'm definitely celebrating my stash today. I wanted a lighter sheet of paper so that I could write a message to my mom on the inside. And this pattern paper from, I want to say this was Spooky or something. I don't remember the name of the paper pack. So I'm just cutting it down to make a center portion for the right hand side of the inside, and then I'll cut down that other strip to match the the branches of the tree. And I think this just makes it interesting, and I didn't have a big enough sheet of the orange left in my scraps to fill that whole left side, but you'll see what I end up doing here, and I'm really pleased with the results. I hope my mom likes it. I'm cutting this down to, I think it's 5.25 tall is what I had decided to do. That's what it looks like on the ruler there. So I'll just glue this paper down, lining up the branches with leaving my border. And I pulled the paper up because it was hard to see the fold line on that black paper. So I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was looking at. I'm going to cut this striped paper down to 5.25 as well, and then glue it along the edge here. And it's just a matter of decorating it now, which is so much fun. I'm not truly a big Halloween person, but I have a lot of Halloween paper. So here's another one. I think this was Hooligans from a while ago, and it had the stickies. That's what they used to call the sticker sheets. So I'm going to audition some of those just to see what works and doesn't work. And at first I thought that the Hooligans paper was too bright to go with the other paper that I started with. But as I pulled out this, I'll call it like a bookmark sticker, I think it was perfect. So I grabbed my embossing buddy and I'm just taking the sticky off that sticker, and then I'm going to try again to audition a few more of these little monsters along the card. And you might, go, well, why are you giving your mom a Halloween card? Well, she was a middle school teacher for years, and she, just like me, is a child at heart and loves all holidays. And so she decorates for holidays. She loved when the kids would come around and trick or treat. And who wouldn't like to have a Halloween card? I mean, regardless of your age. So here's a little bee dressed as a cockroach, I think, which I think is kind of funny. And I'm just taking a look at these stickers and seeing what might work and what I can use. I also want to figure out what I can fill in the pockets. Part of my hang up sometimes in starting on a project, and maybe you have the same issue, is not being able to make the card. Like, I can make the card base and I can use this paper, but it's making it look good, or decorating it, or knowing what direction to go in. So I'm just kind of playing here. I grabbed my tag punch and I punched 2 of them out, and I'm just gluing them back to back just so both sides are the orange, and also it gives it a little bit of strength, using my crocodile to poke a hole. And again, like I said, I'm kind of struggling with what do I do next. So I'm just taking the next step. I'm looking on my desk going, oh, I have black embroidery floss, so I'm going to grab that, and I'll go ahead and put something in the tag top. Oh, but this, in the meantime, I found this monster that'll work too. So it's just a matter of kind of giving yourself permission, I would say, to audition things and play with things and not get hung up on it all. Just keep plugging away at it and have fun. So here's that floss that I was telling you about earlier, that when I don't have something to do, or I don't know what the next step is, I just try to find one small thing that I can do, and that kind of gives me time to think about, oh, do I want to splatter this? Do I want to emboss it? Do I want to heat emboss it? Just kind of go through my tricks in my tool bag, I'll call them, and see if there's something that'll just work with this card. And I think it was at this point that I was like, well, what other Halloween papers do I have? I know I have Spellbound, but I don't think I have any stickers with that. And then I realized, oh, I have the Got Candy from last year's paper packs. So here it is. I pulled it out of my stash, and it has these sequins that I totally forgot were even in my stash because they weren't put away correctly. Not that if any of you have them, but I have all of these candies and bats that I colored last year in doing these cards that just never got used. So I pulled a bunch of those out. I grabbed the sticker sheet. I'm taking a look at what's going to fit. I really like the color of the purple and gray bat candies, with the monsters on the front. Look at the words that are on the bottom of the Got Candy sticker sheet that was woefully underused, if even at all. And I'm having fun. So what better to say on a Halloween card than trick or treat? And especially since we're going to be there. The kids aren't getting to go. It's just my husband and I, but at least we're going to be together for Halloween, and that'll be fun. So I'm going to pop dot this bat off the card. And also, because I knew that this card was going to be hand delivered, I didn't have to worry about how tall or bulky things got. So my mind was really clicking away once I realized, you're making this for your mom. So add some foam tape on some candies. I'm going to glue some candies directly to the page, to the front of the card. So what do you do when you kind of have your creative juices stalled, or you kind of don't know what the next direction is? I'd love for you to tell me what it is that you do for that. I'm trying to find a place to use those sequins, and here's my aha moment. I'm going to make this bookmark monster, I'll call it, or journaling monster, into a shaker element. So I was just measuring the length that I needed to cut my foam tape. So I'm going to cut it into strips. And I kind of fast forwarded that so you don't have to see me cutting all of those into strips. But I'm going to put one just around all the edges and under his mouth, and create my center for a shaker element. If you haven't made a shaker element by yourself, it's really easy to do. It's literally just make a border so that you can have like a bounding area, whether it's a circle or a square or a rectangle or a star shape, whatever you want. But you need a bounding area that's a well that can hold all the shaker pieces, the sequins or the beads or whatever you want. And then I don't have any acetate, but I do have, this was a damaged flip-flap card. You might not be able to see it on here, but it has a cut in it through one of the layers. So I'm just going to cut this down and use one layer of this flip-flap as my acetate to cover the top of my little shaker element here. So originally I think I measured it wrong, or maybe I cut it from the piece that was damaged, and so I ended up having to cut two fronts for this. And I left that in here just so that you can see it's okay to make mistakes. We all do it. We all, I don't want to say get caught up in the moment, but either cut it down wrong or I realize, oh, this isn't the right size. And so I think that was damaged. I think there was a slit in it, and I didn't want all of the ghouls and goblins to come out of the shaker element. So I just cut another one there. And page protectors are also really good for the front of your shaker cards. So here I'm taking that anti-static pouch again, and I'm rubbing it along the inside edges of the foam tape just to make sure that there's no static electricity inside, but also that there isn't any adhesive that is kind of on the edges that are going to hold my sequins and beads in place. And I'm trying to fish to the bottom of the bag to get some of the smaller pieces, because there's pumpkins and ghosts and bats that are bigger and on the top, and I wanted to make sure that there were some of the sequins included in this shaker as well. And it's a little hard to get them spread out and not stuck, your fingers stuck to the outside foam tape, but it can be done. So then I just wiped off the plastic before I attached it, and here we go. So now to cover that foam tape so that you don't see it, I'm just cutting a rectangle that's going to be the correct size. So I'm using a pencil to show my line, and it was hard to see on this paper, but in person I managed. And then I'm kind of looking at how wide did I cut that foam tape. If you have manufactured tape that you didn't have to cut, it's probably a 1/4 inch thick, and you'd be safe with a 1/4 inch border, but mine was a little bit smaller, so but I wanted to make sure because I had some thick and some thin spots. So here we go. I made myself a frame, and I'm just going to use the Tombow green capped adhesive because it stays a little tacky even when it's fully dry. And with plastic and paper trying to be stuck together, you need to have that extra stick. So there we go, homemade shaker element done. And I'm going to slow this down a little bit so that you can kind of take a look at the card and how it has the 2 pockets. You could easily stick in like a McDonald's gift card, or a Starbucks gift card would be popular in this house. And that's the card. And there's your shaker element for fun. And you can take that out and use it as a bookmark. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, here's another opportunity. Here's a video that I think you may be interested in. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I hope you have just a blessed day. Bye.